From the first whistle in August to the final showdown in May, it's been a season of highs, lows and everything in between for Blackburn. Welcome to the 2024-25 Blackburn season review, a deep dive into a campaign that ultimately ended with an unexpected 7th place finish and very nearly a playoff appearance. After a challenging 2023-24 finish, all eyes were on Ewood Park to see how Rovers would respond. With new faces, tactical shifts and an ever-competitive championship, the journey was anything but predictable. Join me as we relive the standout moments, the turning points, the goals that lit up the league and the players who rose or fell to the occasion. This is the story of Blackburn Rovers' 24-25 season, all about passion, perseverance and the pride of Lancashire. We go all the way back to last summer, of course. The new kits were announced, new season shirts kicking off the season, and Blackburn had secured a new front of shirt sponsorship deal with Watson Ramsbottom. Italian sportswear brand Macron continued to manufacture their kits as they have done since 2021 when they took over from Umbro. The home shirt was staying true to the club's iconic blue and white halves, with red accents adding a fresh touch to the classic design, and it also had a polo-necked button collar. The away shirt being a tribute to the 1994-95 Premier League winning season, featuring bold red and black stripes, celebrating the iconic design that they wore through that historic campaign. And for the third design, Blackburn opted for a striking pink base, complemented by silver accents, creating a fresh and modern look, and a unique map of Blackburn is subtly incorporated into the design. With the kits defined, who would be wearing them, as Blackburn look to finalise their squad in the transfer market. Now, the summer transfer window, always opportunity for clubs to reassess their squad. Blackburn had deals for Leopold Wolstead and Samir Telalovic found in July. They were the first to depart for undisclosed fees, with keeper Wolstead to AGF Aarhus of Denmark and forward Telalovic to SSV Ulm of Germany. Striker Sam Gallagher moved to Stoke for an estimated fee of £1.8 million. Over 200 games in the Championship for Gallagher, with a total of 45 goals for Rovers, he brought to an end his 5-year stay. 20-year-old left-back Georgie Gent spent most of 23-24 season on loan at Motherwell. He transferred to Barnsley in League One to further his career in another departure for Blackburn. Their most significant outgoing was the transfer of Sammy Szmodic for a fee of £9 million plus add-ons that could rise that deal to £11 million. With 27 goals last season, Szmodic was the Championship top scorer in a struggling Blackburn side, putting the talented forward on Premier League radars, Ipswich eventually the destination with Kieran McKenna. Experience and opportunity on the mind as well, the loans of Jake Garrett and Jake Batty. Garrett's destination was Bristol Rovers in League One, as young left-back Barry was loaned to Accrington in League Two. Jack Vale also returned to Motherwell on loan after a previous stint with the club, while Dylan Marcandi joined Chesterfield on a season-long loan. Total income from player sales was approximately £11 million, with a net transfer balance of over £8 million, with £3 million of purchases. Here is who they spent it on. The first transfer edition of Blackburn's summer saw a young goalkeeper join the ranks on a 1-year trial with the option of a 1-year extension in Jack Barrett. Barrett had been with Everton since the age of 9, progressing through their youth system and featuring for their under-21 squad in Premier League 2. Before moving to Blackburn, he had a loan spell at Canadian Premier League club Calvary FC, where he made his professional debut. He was included in the squad for a match against Accrington Stanley and travelled to Austria in the pre-season training, and over in February 2025 he ended up being loaned to Workington to the end of the season to continue his development. With the departures of Sam Gallagher and looking likely at the time that Sammy Szmodic would move to the Premier League, it was clear Blackburn needed attacking reinforcements. The recruitment team identified striker Maktar Gueye, who was playing in the Belgian Pro League for RWD at Molenbeek. The 26-year-old Senegalese striker joined on a 3-year contract with an option for an additional year for a reported exceeded £1 million. Standing at 6'5", Gueye, known for his physical presence and aerial ability, it had earned him the nickname Drogba due to his playing style, of course resembling the Chelsea legendary striker, but that's certainly high expectations, no one realistically expecting Drogba-style levels, but we will look more into Gueye's season performance later on. Japanese forward Yuki Hashi was also brought in to bolster Blackburn's forward line, boasting a strong scoring record in the J1 League in Japan, with 15 goals in 27 games in the 2024 season. Ahashi joined from Sanfrecce Hiroshima, signing for an undisclosed fee which is expected to be 6 figures, but significantly below £1 million. A cost-effective signing from overseas which aligns with the Blackburn strategy, but an unknown to English football. He just turned 28 at the start of the season, and Hashi is known in Japan for his versatility and work rate, capable of playing as a lone striker or alongside a partner. He offers different options in the front line, hoping to share amongst that impressive haul of goals that the team was going to be missing without Schmodic. Norwich City had let experienced centre-back Danny Bath leave the club at the end of his contract, which enabled Rovers to pick their 33-year-old up on a free transfer. Blackburn had previously tried to sign Bath in 2023, but they struggled with the financial elements of the deal and finally secured his signature this time around. Training with Wolves during the off-season to prepare his fitness, Bath was brought in for a further defensive option as Scott Wharton was likely out for the season with his knee injury. A huge championship experience, over 300 games under his belt in the second tier, Bath has played for clubs such as Wolves, Stoke, Sunderland and of course Norwich. Just a one-year contract, which is standard for Blackburn's policy for players over 30 years old. And JS Vyman brought to a close his long career at Bristol City in the summer as his contract was not renewed by the Robins, having spent the second half of last season on loan at West Brom. Blackburn pegged a one-year deal with the Austrian international, bringing his wealth of championship experience to Ewood Park. Vyman has over 300 second-tier appearances, more than 100 Premier League matches under his belt, making him a valuable addition to the squad. After leaving Aston Villa in 2015, Vyman went on to play for Derby County, Wolverhampton Wanderers on loan and Bristol City. While with the Robins, he was a key player, scoring 50 goals in 205 appearances, his versatility allowing him to excel across the forward three or as an attacking midfielder. Vyman was handed the number 14 shirt. A move for a backup goalkeeper to support Ainsley Pears was secured when Hungarian goalkeeper Balázs Toth joined the club on a 3-year contract. Blackburn had been searching for a replacement for Leopold Walstead, who left earlier in the transfer window, and the 26-year-old was brought in from Hungarian side Fehérvár FC. Toth has been highly rated in Hungary, having come through the Puskás Academy before making a name for himself at Fehérvár. His performances in the Europa Conference League showcased his shot-stopping ability. He made 8 saves in a match against Ammonia Nicosia, which was one of the highlights of his career so far. He's made 159 career appearances, keeping 52 clean sheets, and has represented Hungary at the senior national level, with Blackburn reported to have paid a 6-figure fee to secure his services. Todd Cantwell's time with Rangers ended on a rather sour note with both the club and the fans, but English football remembers his championship experience, which include a standout promotion-winning campaign with Norwich City, and with Blackburn hoping he can be a game-changer for the team, but be wanting consistent performances. The deal was finalised for a fee of around £1 million, and Cantwell signed a 3-year contract with the club, keeping him at Ewood Park until 2027. He was taking Schmodic's number 8 shirt as well, with big boots to fill. Cantwell's arrival was part of Blackburn's strategy to add creativity and experience to their squad. He primarily plays as an attacking midfielder, but he can also operate on the wing. Owen Beck joined Blackburn Rovers on a season-long loan from Liverpool as well ahead of the new championship season. The 22-year-old left-back had previously impressed on loan at Dundee, earning a spot in the PFA Scotland Premiership Team of the Year. Beck's move to Blackburn continues Liverpool's tradition of loaning young talents to the Championship club, following players like Harvey Elliott and Tyler Morton. Beck is actually the great-nephew of Liverpool legend Ian Rush and has represented the Welsh under-21 side 14 times. Blackburn's head coach at the time, John Eustace, expressed confidence in Beck's ability to contribute to the team's success. Blackburn also brought in Lewis Baker with the intention of a season-long loan from Stoke City as they look to strengthen their midfield options. He'd previously represented clubs like Chelsea, Vitesse Arnhem and Trabzonspor, showcasing his ability to adapt to different leagues and playing styles. The 29-year-old midfielder's contract with Stoke was set to expire in the summer of 2025, making this loan a pivotal moment in his career. Baker was the former Stoke City captain before the 2023-24 season, but was initially seen as surplus to this season's requirements for the Potters. However, his loan spell was cut short in January. Stoke recalled him to strengthen their squad for the second half of the season, but we will see how he got on for Blackburn in the first half of the season. On deadline day, Blackburn swooped to add another to their squad in the form of former Arsenal under-21 winger Amario Cozier-Dubry on a season loan deal. The 19-year-old had secured a switch from Arsenal to Brighton with a 4-year contract during the transfer window. With an impressive pre-season, Brighton decided game time was best for his development. Cozier-Dubry had a standout season with Arsenal under-21, scoring 11 goals in 19 Premier League 2 appearances and featuring in the FA Youth Cup final. He was also named on the bench for Arsenal's Carabao Cup tie against Brentford and their Champions League match against Sevilla. Cozy Adubu will compete for minutes on the right wing, where he can cut inside on his stronger right foot, offering different options to the team. Now it's time to look at how the season went, and the Championship was here back in August 2024, and the season started at Blackburn with uncertainty. The rumours around Szmolik's departure were high. He was still registered as Blackburn began their season. Last season's top scorer did in fact come off the bench to score an assist in opening day delight though, as Blackburn were the first game of the Championship season on television. Beating the club, John Eustace would eventually join in Derby County 4-2, with new boys Andreas Weimann and Yuki Hashi also on the score sheet. The Japanese forward rescued a point for Rovers in their first away game at Carrow Road, 2-2 against Norwich City, as a Hashi's header added to Ryan Hedges, who had put them ahead. Rovers continued their strong start with a narrow 2-1 win over Championship new boys Oxford United then at Ewood Park. After a stunning Mark Harris long-range strike, Joe Rankin Costello levelled just moments later, with substitute Arne Sigurdsson scoring his first since New Year's Day 2024 to bring a 2-1 victory. An impressive start to the season in August was completed with a 1-1 draw at Turf Moor, holding on against their rivals despite a Maktargay sending off, but thanks to a wonderful Weimann dipping volley which ended up being goal of the season. It was a fantastic strike. Unbeaten start in August, 5th in the league with 8 points, a start that Blackburn could only have dreamed of, with many writing them off in pre-season. So going into September, confidence was flowing at Ewood Park. Bristol City were the visitors after the international break, and Yuki Hashi kept up his remarkable start to his Blackburn career with 2 goals in a 3-0 victory. Japanese striker produced 2 fabulous finishes in the second half to make it 5 goals in 5 games since his move from Japan. Lewis Travers also scored his first goal for more than 2 years. Tempers flared then in the Lancashire derby, a double sending off at Deepdale between Preston and Blackburn, which saw both Sam Greenwood and Owen Beck sent to the back in a 0-0 draw. The game was also notable for a nasty incident with Milutin Osmajic biting Beck, which set off the on-loan defender's reaction for his sending off. Following an FA investigation, Osmajic was handed an 8-match ban and fined £15,000 for violent conduct, while Beck got a 3-match suspension for his red retaliation. Back on the pitch, and Blackburn closed out a strong September with 3 clean sheets and 7 points, with a 2-0 win over QPR at Ewood Park. Rovers captain Lewis Travis making his 200th career appearance, and Danny Barth scored for the home side in a dominant second half performance after Eustace introduced the impressive Cantwell at half-time. Riding high in an unexpected 3rd place after 7 games to close out September, with 15 points on the board and remaining unbeaten in the Championship. Match 8 though, kicking off October, Blackburn finally saw their unbeaten start ended by Coventry City in their October opener, with a 3-0 defeat at the CBS Arena. Jake Bidwell, Haji Wright and Brandon Thomas Asante doing the damage as Blackburn were beaten for the first time. Just 4 days later, and they were subject to a late dramatic 97th minute Plymouth winner at home park from Morgan Whittaker. Rovers thought they'd grabbed a point through Joe Rankin Costello's late equaliser, which saw manager Wayne Rooney shown a red card for in the aftermath, only for Whittaker to head home in the final seconds. It was back to winning ways though at Ewood Park against the Swansea side struggling for goals, Tyrese Dolan scoring his first Championship goal since the first day of the season as the only goal in a 1-0 win. The West Brom goalless draw did come with a heavy injury blow, Hayden Carter suffering a knee injury which would require surgery. It was an injury that would see Carter out for over 4 months, not returning until March. The 3rd defeat of the month though to close October at Watford. Ryan Hedges was adjudged to have handled in the area, Io Kiembo converting for the 1-0 win for the Hornets. So overall a mixed month, Blackburn showing resilience but struggling to find consistency. Their defence remained solid but scoring goals proved to be a challenge, but they did still remain inside the top 6. Sheffield United were on a tear by the time November came around and Blackburn had the chance to meet them. A 9th clean sheet in 13 league games for the Blades as a 2-0 defeat saw Rovers fail to muster a single attempt on target. Stoke City caused back-to-back 2-0 defeats at Ewood Park as Blackburn went 4 matches without a goal. Victor Johansson denying Rovers multiple times as Milian Manhoof and Tom Cannon's penalty was enough for Stoke. Blackburn did get back to winning ways away at struggling Cardiff, Austrian forward Andreas Weimann scoring twice as Rovers claimed a deserved 3-1 victory at the Cardiff City Stadium. It ended a run of 3 successive away defeats as Lewis Baker scored the other. Weimann has now scored 7 goals against Cardiff in 14 appearances, which is the most goals he scored against any club. Off the pitch, John Park left his role as head of recruitment. His departure was rumoured part of a broader restructuring of Blackburn's recruitment team, following disagreements over a transfer strategy. Storm Burke caused havoc as Blackburn saw their fixture against Portsmouth scheduled for the 23rd of November postponed, the heavy rainstorms and flooding ensuring that the match would be played in January. The break did Blackburn some good though, as they backed up their Cardiff win with all 3 points at Middlesbrough, Dominic Khayyam's late winner backing up a strong defensive display. November ended even better. Todd Cantwell's first half penalty ended Leeds United's 3-match winning streak, a really impressive 1-0 win, with Eustace declaring it an outstanding performance, ending November in the Championship in 8th place. December was Blackburn's busiest month yet as they took on 6 Championship fixtures over a busy Christmas period. They extended their winning run in the league to 6 with victories over Hull, Sheffield Wednesday and Luton, as Blackburn were proving their strong start to the season was no mistake. Hull had just appointed new manager Ruben Sellers. He watched on from the stands as Sean McLaughlin's own goal was the difference. Maktar Gay scored his first league goal for Rovers, and that was enough to see off Wednesday. And there were more firsts as the winning run continued, with Amario Cozier-Dewberry and Owen Beck both scoring their first senior goals against Luton, with the Lonies giving Blackburn a 2-0 victory. It was Millwall, though, who ended the winning run and the 5 clean sheets late at the Den. Mihailo Ivanovic in the 96th minute injury time with a header before Blackburn scored a late goal of their own in the 2-2 draw with Sunderland. Harry Leonard added to Yuki Ihashi's first half goal in a close fight between the two informed teams. Hull did manage to get the revenge, though, rounding off 2024. Ryan Longman for the Tigers at Ewood Park, enough for a 1-0 win. Blackburn did suffer, sadly, a double injury blow to the squad. Lewis Travis and Harry Pickering both with injuries. Travis injured his hamstring, sidelined up to 6 weeks, while Pickering suffered a knee injury against Millwall, which wouldn't see him return until mid-April, with just 4 Championship games to go. January transfer window, more opportunities to tune up the squad, and it opened the opportunity to reassess what they had, looking first at those who exited the club. Goalkeeper Joe Hilton, who had largely been on the periphery of the squad with multiple loan moves at the time, the club signed pen to paper with Bradford City on an undisclosed fee. Young fullback Leo Duru was loaned out for his first team experience as he moved to League Two side, also with Barrow for the rest of the season, while Connor O'Riordan returned from his loan at Cambridge United and went to Crewe Alexandra, with midfielder Jake Garrett ending his loan at Bristol Rovers to join Tranmere Rovers. Blackburn opened up their winter transfer additions with the signing of 33-year-old midfielder Adam Forshaw on a short-term deal till the end of the season. Having made 16 Championship appearances already this season for Plymouth, Forshaw terminated his contract, which allowed him to move to Ewood Park on a free transfer. Forshaw brought a wealth of Championship experience, having made over 350 career appearances and securing 3 promotions during his career. He started his career at Everton, making his Premier League debut back in 2011, before he moved to Brentford, where he won League One Player of the Year and helped the club earn promotion to the Championship. On a short-term deal, his addition strengthened the midfield depth for the remainder of the season. Blackburn reportedly paid an undisclosed fee for 25-year-old forward Augustus Cargbo, who had been a long-term target for the club. He had a successful stint at Cesena, helping them win the Serie C title and contributing 9 goals in 31 games during his debut season. But he comes as an unknown quantity to the English game. In the Italian lower leagues, Cargbo is reportedly known for his explosive pace, energy and goal-scoring ability, and he's also represented Sierra Leone at international level, earning 21 caps and scoring 5 goals. He signed a 2.5-year contract which would keep him at Ewood Park until June 2027. With injuries in the defence racking up, particularly with Harry Pickering sidelined with his injury, Blackburn needed to bolster defensive options. And the club went for Portuguese left-back Yuri Ribeiro on a short-term contract from Braga until June. Now 25, the defender has experience in English football before, having previously played for Nottingham Forest between 2019 and 2021. Ribeiro also had stints at Legia Warsaw in Poland and, as mentioned, Braga in Portugal before he joined Rovers. Ribeiro's versatility as a left-back and wing-back has been a key asset throughout his career, with over 200 appearances overall. The intention was that he would hit the ground running for Rovers. Dion Sanderson joined Blackburn Rovers on loan from Birmingham City during the window, the move reuniting the 25-year-old defender with their head coach John Eustace, who had previously worked with him at both Birmingham City and Queen's Park Rangers. Sanderson began his career at Wolves' academy, gaining valuable experience through loan spells at Cardiff City, Sunderland and Birmingham before he joined the Blues permanently in 2023. Despite being named captain at Birmingham, he struggled for game time this season, prompting the loan move to Blackburn. Sanderson can play as a centre-back or right-back, which offers further defensive options. Emmanuel Dennis joined Blackburn on loan from Nottingham Forest as well. They were having an excellent season in the Premier League and had a large portion of their squad set. Blackburn agreed to pay part of Dennis's wages, reportedly around £20,000 per week as part of the deal. The Nigerian international signed on for the remainder of the season, aiming to rediscover his form after limited opportunities at Forest. Dennis is known for his pace, unpredictability and his goal-scoring ability. He had previously impressed in the Premier League with Watford, scoring 10 goals in 30 starts during the 2021-22 season. But in recent years, he's struggled to rediscover that goal-scoring form and will need the chance to do that at Ewood Park. The loan market presented another opportunity in January to strengthen the squad, and Blackburn moved to bring forward Cauley Woodrow to the team. Woodrow, with over 350 career appearances and 82 goals, brings a wealth of experience to Blackburn, known for his ability to score crucial goals. Woodrow had started his career at Luton Town before moving to Fulham, where he spent 8 seasons and earned England youth caps. He later played for Barnsley, helping them secure promotion to the Championship before he returned to Luton in 2022 and contributed to their Premier League promotion. Luton manager Matt Bloomfield stated that Woodrow had received quite a bit of interest during the transfer window and that the move to Blackburn was the right decision for all parties. A new year, 2025, and 7 Championship games in January for Blackburn as the season really ramped up. Rovers did manage to secure a late draw in their first game, with Danny Barr scoring in stoppage time against eventual league winners Leeds United in a 1-1 draw. Then followed a tough defeat at home to rivals Burnley, Zion Fleming scoring the only goal of the match in the 60th minute. But Rovers did get back to winning ways in the rearranged fixture against Portsmouth. They dominated a 3-0 win with goals from Mac Targay, Callum Britton and Andreas Weimann. A disappointing 1-0 loss to Oxford was then followed by a home 2-0 defeat by Coventry, back-to-back losses for Blackburn. They did, however, win the Lancashire derby with Preston to end the month, Mac Targay scoring a header and Todd Cantwell converting a penalty in a 2-1 win. Off the field, a new contract for teenage goalkeeper Nick Mikowski, signing for 2 years with the club. The 17-year-old England youth international was named by John Eustace on the Rovers bench in the Championship twice last season. Midfielder Lewis Baker, though, recalled by his parent club Stoke City, they saw him fitting back into their squad until the end of the season. Blackburn boss John Eustace admitted Rovers would miss the leadership qualities of Baker. He said Lewis has been fantastic on and off the pitch, most importantly off the pitch really as a leader. Sondre Tronstad picked up a hamstring injury against Oxford. That put him out until March and joining Travis on the sidelines. Alongside the Baker recall was leaving them with challenges in central midfield. Shock off the pitch at Blackburn. John Eustace left the club in February, along with his assistants Matt Gardner and Keith Downing to join Derby County. Rumours had been circulating, but supporters were left completely shocked at the move. We'll look a bit more at the move later when we look at the managers in that portion of the review, but Derby were in the relegation zone at the time. Reports were a mix of transfer frustrations, moving closer to family and ambitions. David Lowe took temporary charge on the pitch as Blackburn tried to keep their season on the rails. An away defeat to QPR was followed by an impressive 2-0 victory at West Bromwich Albion. Plymouth were defeated 2-0 with Adam Forshaw not only scoring against his old club but hitting his first in nearly 9 years. The month did end on the pitch with a disappointing 3-0 defeat at Swansea. It left Blackburn in 6th place. The club did make the managerial appointment following, obviously, John Eustace moving on. Valerian Ismail joined Rovers on a 3.5-year contract, with Dean Whitehead appointed the assistant head coach. Ismail had championship experience, having previously managed Barnsley, West Brom and Watford. He led Barnsley to the playoffs in 2021 but missed out on promotion. But his start at Blackburn was tough. Off the field, Blackburn released Arne Sigurdsson. He was left out of the 25-man championship squad at the end of January, as Blackburn had 26 first-team players to register. Since he was not included, the club decided to cancel his contract, which allowed him to move elsewhere without waiting for the transfer window. March arrived with 5 championship games on the horizon as Blackburn looked to settle in with Valerian Ismail as the new manager, but a torrid time was ahead of them, a draw and then 5 straight defeats. Two injury time goals saw a goal apiece against Norwich, with Andy Vyman's rescue goal securing the only point of the month for Rovers. They followed this up with defeat on the road at Derby County 2-1. Defeat at Stoke City, again by a single goal, saw them return to Ewood Park trying to address their recent slump. But going down 2-1 to a Cardiff City side that would finish bottom, Yuki Ihashi's equaliser not enough in that one, as Yaku Meite scored with his first touch for the Bluebirds for the winner. The month ended with defeat on the south coast as well to Portsmouth. Josh Murphy's 1-2 with Colby Bishop, enough to condemn Rovers to a 1-0 defeat. Blackburn were now 5 points adrift of the playoffs. More bad news though for Blackburn in the form of another injury. It was confirmed one of their top scorers, Andy Vyman, was going to miss the rest of the season with a knee injury. With 9 goals in all competitions, it was a frustrating blow, as it was confirmed he would require surgery to repair a meniscus tear. In other off-the-pitch news, though, Rovers confirmed they'd be moving forward with safe standing plans at Ewood Park, which would come into play next season. April kicked off and Blackburn's defeat 2-0 to Middlesbrough ensured that Rovers were still without a win under Valérien Ismaël. They carried into the 2-2 draw with Sheffield Wednesday as well, just 4 days later. At least in that one, Tyrese Dolan and Yuki Ihashi saw them come back from 2-0 down, brought a bit of confidence into the side, and they got their win at Luton. 1-0 over there. It was Ihashi again, and Rovers held on despite Christy Montgomery sending off. 4 goals then followed in a commanding 4-1 win over playoff rivals Millwall, as Sondre Tronstad scored his first league goals for the club, and Rovers sealed their first home win for more than 2 months. This put Rovers on a playoff contention fight path, edging out Sunderland at the Stadium alight before a crucial 2-1 win against Watford, with Dolan scoring in both, ensuring Blackburn would take it down to the last day. Off the pitch, contract extensions for Hyam and Ribeiro, criticism of the club for letting contracts run down in the past, such as Ben Brereton Diaz and Ryan Nyambe for a few, so they'll be pleased to get those two signed up. On the injury front, Owen Beck picked up a season-ending hamstring injury, ruling him out. He returned to Liverpool for his rehabilitation. A blow for Blackburn, as Beck had nailed down that left-back spot and was performing consistently well throughout the season. Fan protests as well against Sheffield Wednesday reflected a growing sentiment amongst Blackburn supporters. Significant changes they feel are still necessary at the executive and ownership levels to ensure the club's long-term success. So the final day was upon us, and Blackburn had fought their way back into an unlikely playoff contention position. The task was a tough one. They had to go to already confirmed in the playoff Sheffield United, with Bristol City 2 points ahead and Coventry City and Millwall just a single point to catch. The unlikely task though looked possible. Yuki Ihashi put Blackburn in the lead at Sheffield United, but it was a lead that Rovers could not hang on to, with the score at 1-1 heading into the dying embers of the season. Coventry were 2-0 up at Middlesbrough, they'd confirmed their playoff place, and Bristol City had recovered to a 2-2 draw, but it meant that a late Blackburn goal would see them sneak into 6th. Ismail's side pushed for an equaliser, keeper Balash Toth continually going up for corners, but they couldn't find it. In the end, they finished 7th place in the Championship, just outside the playoffs, but still way above expectations. So how to review a season for a team that were expected to struggle after the departure of last season's Championship top scorer Sami Smodic, yet somehow they ended up in a playoff battle. Blackburn's blistering start surprised and impressed many, and it was backed up by their 6 straight wins through November and December. Undoubtedly, the uncertainty with the departure of Eustace unbalanced the stability of the team and was felt as a body blow by the supporters. The squad lacked a consistent goal threat across the season, which did prove costly in crucial matches, but defensively were better than anybody expected. Ultimately though, if you're looking at where it was lost, it was the 8 games without a win from February to early April. They were suffering a number of injuries in this period, but despite the 4 wins into the final day, which put Rovers back in contention, ultimately it ended in 7th place. So we'll also have a quick look as well how Blackburn got on in the Cups, as well as a bit of an overview. They were drawn away at fellow Championship side Middlesbrough in the 3rd round of the FA Cup in January. They secured a 1-0 victory, and having missed an open goal just moments before, Andreas Weimann made amends in that one in the 70th minute, picking up a loose clearance 12 yards out to drill past Borough keeper Tom Glover. The 4th round draw pitted Rovers against Premier League opponents at Ewood Park. Wolverhampton Wanderers would take the trip in early February, and despite a spirited performance, Blackburn lost 2-0 with goals from João Gomez and Mateus Cunha sealing the win for Wolves, meaning they were eliminated a round shy of the previous season where they made the 5th round. The EFL Cup saw Blackburn enter at the first round stage, drawn away at League One Stockport County in the second week of the season. They emphatically disposed of Jade Challenger's side with a 6-1 victory at Ewood Park. Sammy Szmodic signed off in style with a 2-goal brace in his last game for the club. The second round though was as far as this year's run would take them though. Blackpool visited Ewood Park and promptly turned around an early Mac Targay penalty with second half goals from Jake Beasley and Hayden Coulson, ceding Blackburn to their exit. Representing Blackburn's earliest exit in the EFL Cup since the 2021-22 season. So this portion of the review, we're going to look at how statistically Blackburn got on in different characteristics. Attack over defence is where you would look at Rovers coming up probably slightly short on that playoff place. 12th highest scorers in the Championship and actually scoring 7 less than last season where they finished 19th. Goals away from home were harder to come by for Blackburn, with just 19 away from Ewood Park compared to the 34 they scored at home. Top goal scorers Yuki Hashi and Andy Vyman finished the season with 8 and 9 goals, which was below the league's top scorers, but both missed important periods with injury. Goals were distributed around the squad rather than a reliance on a single striker, with the importance of the attacking unit placed as a priority. One area that Blackburn might have hoped for more in was their set-piece routines. Only 5 goals came from such situations, which of course can be crucial, particularly in tight fixtures. Some of the most exciting goals of the season included Callum Britton's strike against Portsmouth, as well as Dominic Hyam's goal against Middlesbrough. But of course, a goal of the season was that tremendous dipping volley over James Trafford of Burnley from Andy Vyman on the first derby of the season. One that Rovers fans will still enjoy, I'm sure, watching the repeat of. Giving up some of their attacking threat, however, paid dividends in their defensive displays, as Blackburn conceded a whopping 26 goals less than last campaign. 15 clean sheet shutouts aligned with goals conceded at just 1.04 per 90 were enough to place Blackburn in the top 6 defensively. Added to that, Ainsley Pears was consistent for Rovers, and this was continued by Balash Toth at the end of the season, as a 74% save percentage was within the top 3 of the division. Blackburn managed to limit the chances as well that they were having to deal with, stopping almost 5 more goals than their expected goals suggest that they should have done. Considering a backline that had to contend with key injuries, Eustace had implemented a strong defensive unit with teams struggling to open Blackburn up. Only Coventry and Swansea scored 3 against Blackburn in the league, with many of their losses coming by just a single goal. Often 1-0 as the attack failed to break oppositions down more than defensive lapses. Eustace in the first part of the season prioritised a compact defensive shape with a low block, restricting space and limiting high quality chances for the opposition. A tactic that proved effective against some of the top teams, such as the 1-0 win over Leeds, as they were able to frustrate the most dangerous Championship opponents. So Rovers' overall season was probably a tale of 2 philosophies. Under John Eustace, the team thrived on defensive organisation with tactical flexibility and creative set pieces. They positioned themselves as playoff contenders, and then they had the mid-season transition to Valerian Ismail, who introduced a more aggressive and pressing orientated approach, facing challenges though in the implementation, which of course led to that crucial dip in form. Eustace predominantly employed a 4-2-3-1 formation with his defensive organisation and structured build-up play, looking to transition quickly from defence to attack, capitalising on turnovers, leveraging on the pace and creativity of their attacking midfielders and wingers. Ismail, by comparison, experimented with both 4-3-3 and 3-4-3 formations to give the team attacking fluidity and width. Inconsistent team selection as Ismail was searching for the right balance added to difficulties in executing the high press system, which contributed to the challenges during the period. It seemed to click more in the final games as Blackburn regained their threat, but of course it was just a little too late as they just missed out on the playoffs. We're going to take a look now at how the players performed this season. Overall, the club used a total of 33 players in the Championship. An average age of 27.9 is the second oldest in the division. Now, the squad had evolved into more experience, with last season's average age of 24.8, not only a full 3 years younger than this squad, but was also the 4th youngest in the Championship the season before. So a clear decision to put focus and experience after a difficult season in 23-24. We're going to look into each position with the help of some statistics from both sofascore.com and fbref.com to overview each players, starting with the goalkeepers. Ainsley Pears has been Blackburn Rovers' #1 goalkeeper for most part of the season as a cornerstone of the team. The graphic on display here shares stats for this season compared with previous season for goalkeeping statistics, with the graph a tracker of the sofascore.com performance from the players. It's their rating match by match through the season on how they rate it over there. Interestingly, Pears was dropped to the bench, however, the final 5 games of the season. Recent performances had dropped below his earlier season form, so Valerian Ismail preferred Balázs Toth between the sticks. The Hungarian performed well and took his opportunity. What this means for the future of Blackburn's regular #1, only time will tell. Here we look at some key goalkeeping statistics and how Pears has compared with other goalkeepers in the Championship. Now, he secured 13 clean sheets, conceding 39 goals, averaging 1.07 goals against per 90. A vast improvement on last season's average of 1.48 conceded per game. For both goals against and clean sheets, he recorded the 7th best amongst all Championship goalkeepers who played regularly. An impressive save percentage as well of 73.9%, which stood 5th amongst his goalkeeping peers for Pears. During the 2024-25 season, Balázs Toth has primarily been a backup option for Ainsley Pears, making 6 Championship appearances in all. However, at the back end of the season, Ismail put his faith in Toth, putting him in goal for the last 5 games of the Championship season, which it's fair to say Toth put some very good performances in. Prior to that run, he had made his debut against Luton on matchday 28 when Pears had picked up a minor ankle injury in that week, making his first clean sheet, and he made a good save in that one from Tello Asgard, touching a strike onto the bar. He was also the FA Cup selected goalkeeper, conceding 3 goals in 2 matches. That did include a disappointing goal though, which he conceded under his body against Wolves, but a strong end to the season which gives plenty of optimism for his future. Toth has described the Championship as a highly physical and intense league, stating he learned a lot from his first season in English football and he hopes to continue playing and establish himself in the team. So for each outfield player, we can see their key stats for appearances, goals and assists for the last few seasons, as well as their shot and goal creating actions from the fbeatref.com website. Callum Britton had a steady 2024-25 season for Blackburn, continuing to be a reliable presence at right back. A couple of injuries were frustrating for him though, playing early on through a fractured knee which delayed his recovery period. Then he had a calf injury that forced him out between match days 38 and 42. His SofaScore Championship season rating of 7.18 was the best amongst the Blackburn squad for any player that played over 50% of games, highlighting his consistent performances for Rovers. One of his standout performances coming against Millwall in his return from injury in mid-April, scoring and assisting in a 4-1 win, earning him the player of the match and a 9.6 rating on sofascore.com. His defensive stats are not standout, but his experience and consistency helped Blackburn maintain stability. Going forward, his ability to support attacks and provide width was valuable. He finished 6th on the goal and assist scale for the club, which shows the threat Blackburn need from Britain on the right-hand side, and he was also 4th on the assist charts, matching his tally of 5 from last season. In his 3rd season for Blackburn, Britton has now surpassed 100 appearances for the club since he signed from Barnsley in 2022. His performances seem to continue to be an integral part of the squad moving forward. As he enters the last year of his current contract, the 27-year-old will have his future in his mind over the summer. On the left-hand side, it was a frustrating season for Harry Pickering, with the left-back suffering a knee injury in December, which would keep him on the shelf for around 3 months. A blow for any player to miss that length of time, and Pickering would only feature once in 2025 with a substitute appearance against Millwall in mid-April. Having featured in over 2/3 of Blackburn's last 3 campaigns, only 25% of Blackburn's Championship minutes saw Pickering on the pitch. He opened the season as John Eustace's choice left-back. The incoming Owen Beck took his opportunity in replacement as Pickering was left to recover and recuperate his knee. When he's there, Pickering offers Blackburn reliable defensively. His attacking contributions are more limited than some of the more offensive left-backs are in the Championship. In his tackles and interceptions per 90, he sits in the mid-pack of the squad, and the same can be said for his attacking contributions, sitting lower than the more aggressive fullbacks in the division, such as Ryan Giles and Callum Elder, for example. With just an assist to his name and a total of 15 shot creating actions in his 15 appearances, which based on minutes equates to 1.30 actions per 90. Pickering's positional discipline and consistency make him a valuable asset, but Blackburn may look for more attacking output from their fullbacks in the future. Portuguese left-back Yuri Ribeiro became a key addition to the squad with his January arrival from Blackburn. Owen Beck's injury had left Rovers short, and Ribeiro nailed down the spot, playing every minute of the last 15 matches of the season. With solid, consistent performances earning his 6.93 rating, Blackburn conceded 17 goals with Ribeiro in the team and scored 18. His cross for Andreas Weimann in the 6th minute of injury time against Norwich at the start of March rescued a draw, one of his highlights in the short time Ribeiro has been with the club. Defensively, he was consistent, rarely flashy but rarely caught out. His positioning and ability to read the game helped him shore up a backline that had its shaky moments, especially during the tough part of 2025. Going forward, Ribeiro provided solid width for Blackburn and was always an option overlapping down the flank. While he wasn't bombing forward every game, he did contribute with a few key assists, delivering dangerous crosses. His mid-season addition to Blackburn definitely bolstered their defensive options. His consistent performances combined with the ability to support offensive plays made him a valuable asset in the latter stages of the season. Centre-back Dominic Hyam was an ever-present in the central of defence for Blackburn, playing every single minute of their championship campaign. He formed an important and formidable centre-back pairing with Danny Barth as a cornerstone of the Blackburn defence. Hyam was the 4th highest ranked player on performance by SofaScore.com with his 7.05 rating, showing his consistency on the rating graph on the screen. The centre-back only committed 26 fouls over the course of the season, averaging approximately 0.58 fouls per 90 minutes, which reflected his clean tackling and his positional awareness. Undoubtedly a man for a clearance though, 352 clearances, 76 more than the next highest championship player Mark McGuinness of Luton as he topped the clearance tallies. Whilst not as effective in terms of aerial percentage won despite his 6'2" height, he won the most aerials in the team at 173. His 2 goals scored did not come from headers, but added to his 2 direct assists, a very good return for a central defender. Hyam's ability to balance defensive duties with initiating attacks have made him a key player in the squad. Joe Rankin Costello, it's fair to say, probably had a mixed 2024-25 season with Blackburn, featuring in 29 matches across all competitions. He played primarily as a right back, but he did fill in as a central midfielder when needed. Rankin Costello scored twice and assisted 4 goals, which was similar to previous seasons with the club. However, his game time fluctuated with increased competition for his position. Ishmael opted for youngster Christy Montgomery as the preferred cover for Callum Pritton towards the end of the season, which limited Rankin Costello's opportunities. This season, Rankin Costello featured in more games, but was used as a substitute in more than half of them, more often than not at right back, if not further forward as a right wing option. His campaign was also intermittently affected by injuries as well, an ankle injury in January and a brief hip issue in April. Despite these setbacks, he did maintain a consistent presence in the squad throughout the season, now appearing in over 100 league matches for Blackburn in his Rovers career. His future at Blackburn remains uncertain. The club is reportedly looking to strengthen the right-back position in the summer, alongside youth options in the position with the returning Leo Duro amongst them. Danny Barth came to Blackburn with plenty of experience, and with Hayden Carter suffering a lot with injury this season, he formed an important partnership with Dominic Hyam. Together they offered balance, Hyam with his anticipation and positional sense, Barth with his physicality and timing in the challenge. Barth's experience and leadership were valuable, particularly in tight matches where Blackburn needed defensive stability. Of course, it wasn't perfect. There were spells where the defence was exposed, particularly against pace or when left isolated in transition. But when Rovers looked solid and disciplined, this partnership was vital. No one in the Blackburn squad blocked more shots than Barth, showing his bravery as well as his defensive positioning and timing to protect pairs behind the backline. Only 8th in clearances compared to Hyam top, but showed Blackburn didn't muck around with the ball. 2 goals this season was his highest contribution since the 2019-20 Stoke City campaign, where he hit 4 in the Championship. This season he was highlighting his set-piece threat. An experienced signing that paid dividends for Blackburn, considering he was picked up as a free agent with no transfer fee. A notable absentee for Blackburn this season, but one not to be forgotten, is Scott Wharton, who was sadly sidelined for the entire season with injury. The centre-back has had a long layoff dating all the way back to the inception of his injury in April 2024 after an awkward fall in a tackle against Sheffield Wednesday. Wharton underwent surgery in May 2024 after scans revealed damage to his ACL and other parts of the knee, which saw him miss the entirety of the season. Wharton is contracted with the club until the summer of 2027 and is targeting a return to training during pre-season for the 25-26 campaign. A year is a long time to be out, so best wishes to Wharton in his recovery. Hayden Carter was solid for Blackburn Rovers when available, playing a key role in their defensive setup. He made 16 appearances in the Championship, contributing to 4 clean sheets. Sadly for Carter, he picked up a knee injury during their 0-0 draw with West Brom in October. He picked the injury up backtracking defensively and had to be helped off the pitch by physios, confirmed to be a serious injury post-game. After over 4 months on the sidelines, Carter did eventually make his return in March, playing in Blackburn's 1-1 draw against Norwich. He expressed relief at being back, stating he'd worked hard to regain fitness and was eager to contribute for the rest of the season. Unfortunately for Carter, after some strong performances on his return, he suffered a calf injury in late March, which would rule him out for the remainder of the campaign. When he was available, he helped the team to secure 5 clean sheets and conceded 16 goals, performing well at shot blocking and good on the ball with 81% passing accuracy. Carter is defensively reliable and strong in interceptions and clearances stats. His aerial ability is strong, but not dominant when you compare him to other teams' centre-backs. He's been successful at bringing the ball out of the defence, with the success rate surprisingly high for a centre-back, showing his confidence in bringing the ball forward. Owen Beck was a great capture for Blackburn on loan from Liverpool, a productive season which established him as a reliable left-back within the Championship. 24 appearances with 21 starts in the league as he nailed down a first-team place with Rovers during the first half of the season. Sadly for Beck, his season was disrupted by a hamstring injury in February, which kept him out for several weeks initially, but he did end up returning to action against Portsmouth, suffering a recurrence of the injury after just 13 minutes, which left him visibly emotional as he exited the pitch. Due to the severity of the injury, Liverpool decided to recall Beck early from his loan spell so he could undergo treatment at their AXA training centre. Only John Buckley put in more tackles per 90 than Beck, as he was effective at disrupting the opposition and winning back possession. Scoring his first goal against Luton in December, he also recorded his first red card, an understandable reaction though after that horrific biting incident from Preston's Milan Osmajic. His future remains uncertain, with speculation that Liverpool may consider a permanent transfer in the summer. No doubt after strong performances though, Blackburn fans will wish him well. January edition, Dion Sanderson had spent the previous 3 seasons with Birmingham City in the Championship up to their relegation at the end of 2023-24. 8 of his 12 Championship appearances for Blackburn came from the bench as he played as a centre-back, occasionally filling in at right-back. His game time was limited, particularly with the returning Danny Barth after injury, as they preferred pairing with Dominic Hyam. Overall, his total minutes contributed to 6.3 games of game time for Rovers, as Blackburn only conceded 6 goals during Sanderson's time on the pitch. Sanderson is contracted to Birmingham until 2027, but with their promotion back to the Championship, his future is uncertain at the conclusion of his loan spell with Blackburn. Sondre Tronstad's season was characterised by his unwavering presence in the midfield, tactical intelligence and his leadership qualities. He was one of Blackburn's highest performers on the ratings, an average of 7.09, only bettered by Callum Britton and late season appearances from keeper Balázs Toth. He said, "If I look back at my career, this is the closest I've been with the fans," said Tronstad. "It is special and makes me feel comfortable on the pitch." His recognition as Player of the Year underscores the value he brought to the side, making him an indispensable figure in their campaign. An 88.9% passing accuracy was higher than anyone else in the Blackburn squad. He was crucial in retaining the ball for Blackburn. One of his most notable performances came in April, where he delivered a commanding display in the 4-1 win over Millwall, scoring both goals and earning the Player of the Match award. The club described it as the perfect performance from him. His season was marked by consistency, resilience and a pivotal role in the midfield, fully deserving of his Player of the Season award. Todd Cantwell certainly gave fans glimpses of the creative talent that once lit up the Premier League. Operating mainly in an advanced midfield or wide role, he brought flair, composure and that much needed link between midfield and attack. He was one of Blackburn's highest performers on the SofaScore season ratings, average of 7.09, matched that of Sondre Tronstad and only bettered in the squad by Callum Britton and Balázs Toth. His ability to draw defenders in and open up play for teammates was key. Fitness and form saw him in and out of the side, but his influence on the pitch was undeniable when he was sharp. Off the ball, he worked hard to fit into Blackburn's pressing system, though defensively there's still moments when he drifted, something the manager was looking to address as the season wore on. He was certainly an effective ball carrier. Cantwell drew 82 fouls this season, which was the 5th highest of any player in the Championship. In terms of shot creation, there was no doubt on the stats that Cantwell was the most creative in the Blackburn side, well ahead on the screen statistics there, featuring in the top 25 for shot creation in the whole of the Championship, alongside players such as Jack Woodoney for Coventry and Robbie Brady of Preston. Cantwell also scored 3 goals with 2 from the spot and an important 7 assists in his first season with Rovers. John Buckley's season was one of adaptation and recovery. He faced challenges in securing a consistent starting position. His contributions, particularly in the EFL Cup, demonstrated his potential value though to the squad. Of his 23 Championship appearances, only 8 of them saw him coming from a starting position, as he was introduced mostly as a substitute. However, he was more used infrequently by Ishmael after he took charge, so it does remain to be seen how he's seen ahead of next season. Primarily deployed as a central midfielder, Buckley contributed to ball transition and distribution. No one in the team made more progressive passes per 90 than Buckley. He certainly had a preference for looking forward, making over 5 per 90 minutes he was on the pitch. His passing metrics suggest a role in maintaining possession and facilitating attacks, although his impact in terms of direct goals and assists was limited. He's contracted till June 2027. The homegrown midfielder signed a 5-year deal back in September 2022. In short, Buckley's season showcased his importance to the team, cementing his place as one of the club's most reliable performers, one to watch as Rovers look to build on that midfield strength going forward. Lewis Travis formed the central midfield partnership with Tronstad, and he displayed his leadership and key presence in midfield. He was combative in his nature and liked to engage in crucial tackles and interceptions, but it did lead him to accumulate 11 yellow cards, which is the second highest in the squad behind Tyrese Dolan. Travis missed some key games in December and January after picking up a hamstring injury against Millwall, but the midfielder made his return to action in late February, rejoining the squad during a crucial phase of the season, with Tronstead also looking better, having his partner alongside him. Effective at tackling dribblers with 55, the 4th best in all Championship players at stopping those who ran at him, which assisted the need for turnover in Blackburn's quick transition plan. His high pass completion rate and ability to make key passes highlight his role in maintaining possession and creating opportunities. Holding the ball for creative players further forward to support attacks, Travis did get on the score sheet twice this Championship season, both in September against Bristol City and QPR, breaking the deadlock in both matches. Overall, Travis's 24-25 season showcased his importance to Blackburn's midfield, combining defensive solidarity with the ability to contribute offensively. A reliable and experienced midfielder, Adam Forshaw helped stabilise the team's midfield, providing leadership and giving balance both defensively and in possession. Forshaw, primarily deployed as a central midfielder, played an important role in the middle of the park when called upon, and he offered a calm presence and tactical understanding that helped maintain the team's balance. He managed to score his first goal in nearly 9 years against, of all teams, his former club, Plymouth, in a 2-0 victory. A well-taken finish. His celebrations did spark some controversy. He later clarified he was simply celebrating with his family. Plymouth weren't too happy about it. Often used from the substitutes bench when he appeared, he averaged 4.36 recoveries per match, which indicates that his presence in midfield was crucial for breaking up the opposition's play. Consistent with the ball and performing well with tackles, he was key for ball retention when he was played. His professionalism and experience added depth to the squad, and his presence was felt both on and off the pitch. Lewis Baker made 13 appearances while on loan for Blackburn before he was recalled by Stoke City for the second half of the season. His performances earned him a 6.82 on the SofaScore rating, and his departure was at a difficult moment of central midfield injuries, but ultimately he was a smaller part of Rovers' season. He looked to be getting into a more consistent rhythm before he left, however, and showed signs of the midfield that Stoke wanted obviously to retain. While his statistical contributions were modest, his presence did add experience and depth to the squad. Back at Stoke now, wait to see what his future lies away from Ewood Park. Arne Sigurdsson had a frustrating 2024-25 season with Blackburn, which ultimately led to his departure from the club. After being left out of their 25-man championship squad in January, Sigurdsson was left frustrated with the club's handling of the situation. He called their decision dishonest, as he was informed apparently after the transfer window had closed. With a mutual termination agreed in February, he joined Swedish club Malmo. He didn't start a single championship game for Blackburn, but have included him here because he did score in his 62 total championship minutes on the pitch, that curled finish against Oxford United in August to secure a 2-1 win. Ultimately, he was on the periphery of the squad, probably best for both parties that they parted ways. 6 goals and 6 assists for Maktar Gay in his debut season. Was that enough, Rovers fans? I'll leave that up to you to decide. Gay seemed to settle more as the season went on, showing significant improvement since the turn of the year, becoming more consistent and physically dominant against defenders. He demonstrated his ability though to influence matches. There were periods though where he did struggle to consistently find the back of the net. He became more mature with his performances later on in the season, such as in February, where he delivered a memorable performance netting both goals in a 2-0 win over West Brom. Contributing with 6 assists though did help make up for a smaller goal tally, and Gay linked well with his attacking teammates. Breaking up play, 65 fouls he committed, 5th highest in the Championship. His disciplinary record suggests room for improvement in maintaining composure during games. Well clear on the shots per 90, Gay was tasked with taking shots on for Blackburn, but recorded a shot on target percentage of just 32%. Gay himself is full of optimism for the future, stating, "I'm pleased with how my first season in English football went, and I believe 2024-25 will set me up for a better campaign next year." Featuring in 47 matches across all competitions, Tyrese Dolan was a near ever presence in the squad, trusted by both Eustace and Ismail throughout the campaign. His ability to play on either wing or through the middle make him a key tactical asset, and his high work rate off the ball never went unnoticed. Certainly in the final stretch of the season, Dolan was finding the consistency he was looking for with his performances, as well as his goals, increasing his over SofaScore.com performance to 6.83. He ended the season with 7 goals and 6 assists in the Championship. Not elite numbers, but really crucial ones, coming at important moments like the 78th minute clincher against Plymouth and the tight 2-0 win, showing his composure in front of goal. He was 10th in the Championship overall for successful take-ons, a constant threat on the dribble, drawing fouls and stretching defences. While he occasionally lacked end product in the final third, his progressive play and ability to beat a man gave Rovers vital momentum in many games. Not a man to miss a booking either though, with his total of 12, joint second in the division for total yellow cards, only Gustavo Harmer picking up more with 13. Dolan is out of contract this summer. Head coach Valerian Ismail hopes to keep him, but expectation is there are also some clubs circling to sway him away from Ewood Park. Andreas Weimann finished his debut season for Blackburn with 9 Championship goals before injury sadly cut his season short and a blow to Blackburn's playoff hopes. A lateral meniscus tear in his knee during Blackburn's draw against Norwich in March saw his important impact cut short, but he did have key moments for the club in that game. 96th minute equaliser against them in the debut under manager Valerian Ismail. Awarded the Blackburn goal of the season with 83% of the vote, his sensational 30-yard looping volley over Burnley back in August, a unanimous winner amongst the fans. No one combined a better goals and assists per 90 for Blackburn. He was arguably the biggest attacking threat in the Rovers side. Fans and pundits have backed him to earn a contract extension beyond this season due to his contributions. He was joint 8th in the Championship overall for non-penalty goals per 90 at 0.45, proving Blackburn were right to come in for him. Best shot on target percentage in the division as well, 60.6%, which was more than 7% higher than the next in Tyrese Campbell, which came from 33 shots, showing his deadly finishing threat. Ryan Hedges offered Blackburn a versatile yet consistent outlet they could call upon in various attacking positions throughout the season, flipping between his most frequent position on the left wing to the right hand side when required, also filling at wing back or attacking midfield where the setup was needed. Hedges featured in all but 5 games in the Championship for Rovers. A great example of this is when he played a key role in the build-up to Blackburn's goal in the final match against Sheffield United, delivering a precise pass to Britton, who assisted Ahashi for the equaliser. Just a single goal and 2 assists was a bit light on the direct output, but was often involved in moves leading to goals, which are not always as well captured statistically. The shot creating actions metric is probably one of the best ways to capture these, and Hedges did finish 5th in the squad for this, involved in just over 2 shots per 90 when he was on the pitch. Whilst he was helpful defensively, Hedges did also get in good attacking positions, 81 touches in the penalty box, the 5th highest per 90 in the team, but he will have been disappointed perhaps not to register more shots or assists. Hedges remains a valuable squad player, but Blackburn may look for more attacking output for their wide players next season. Interesting to see what they do generally in the market. 21-year-old promising forward Harry Leonard was another who had injuries damage his season and opportunities. Leonard's 9 appearances all came from the bench over the middle portion of the season, as he totalled 140 Championship minutes for Blackburn. His solo goal coming in the 2-2 draw with Sunderland on Boxing Day in his comeback from injury. That pre-season knock had kept him out of the first half of the season. A fractured back took some time to heal and then restored Leonard to the first team squad. But sadly for Leonard, the injury luck has not been on his side at all this campaign. Dislocated shoulder ruling him out for the rest of the season as he aims for 2025-26 for a fresh and fit start to the season. 9 goals for Japanese forward Yuki Hashi in his debut season saw him finish as Blackburn's top goal scorer in his first season since his move. Sami Szmodic's shoes were always going to be impossible to fill, but he did score some crucial goals. Hashi began the season integrating into the team, making his debut in the EFL Cup and gradually earning more playing time in the league. He played up front but also demonstrated versatility by operating as an attacking midfielder or out on the left when required. An ankle injury in early January sadly sidelined Hashi for approximately a month, but he rehabilitated in time for the final stretch of the season, 4 of his 9 goals coming in the last 8 games of the season. Hashi earned himself as well his first Japanese international call-up at 28 years old, making his debut in a World Cup qualifier for Japan against Indonesia in a proud moment for the likeable forward. One of his strengths was his intelligent movement with the ability to find space in the final third and linking play between midfield and attack. Yuki Hashi's first season in English football has demonstrated his adaptability and potential. Overcoming early challenges and an injury setback, he emerged as a reliable attacking option for Blackburn. His late season form suggests a promising trajectory, and with a full pre-season ahead, he is poised to play a more prominent role in next season's efforts. Amario Cozier-Dubry had a solid season at Blackburn in the Championship while on loan from Brighton and Hove Albion. His contributions include a key goal in their 2-0 win over Luton, which is part of a strong run of form in the team. It was his first senior goal, which marked a significant milestone in his professional career. Despite some injury setbacks, including an ankle injury which kept him out for several matches in October and November, he managed to return and play a role in Blackburn's push for the playoffs. Throughout the season, he registered 17 shots with 5 on target, indicating his willingness to take on defenders and create scoring opportunities as well. 4th in the squad for touches in the penalty box per 90, so he did get in excellent positions. But mostly from the bench, he was only able to get a single goal in the Championship. Reflecting on his loan, Cozier-Dubry described the Championship experience as relentless, but invaluable for his growth as a professional footballer. His loan spell at Blackburn provided valuable first-team experience, and it will be interesting to see how his career progresses from here. Emmanuel Dennis joined Blackburn on loan from Nottingham Forest in February. His season's been challenging, he's had limited game time and uncertainty surrounds his future at the club. He made 7 appearances, starting just 1 match, and has played 215 minutes in total. Contributed 1 assist but has been yet to score a goal. An average rating of 6.52 was sadly the worst score in the Blackburn squad, highlighting his lack of impact. He played a role obviously in the attacking setup but didn't register significant goal contributions. As a useless addition, it's possible Ismail may not favour him and his limited impact during his time at the club, but not really gone as planned. Cauley Woodrow joined Blackburn Rovers on loan from Luton Town in February, adding depth to their attacking options, with a deal agreed until the end of the season. In the first part of his season with Luton, he's made 15 appearances with only 1 start, with no goals or assists to his name. For Blackburn, Woodrow was primarily used as a rotational forward, coming off the bench in all 6 of his matches, providing fresh legs and experience in the attacking third. The forward's short tenure at Blackburn was marked by limited opportunities to make a significant impact on the pitch. As his contract with Luton Town set to expire in May 2025, his future beyond this season remains uncertain. Augustus Cargros had a limited role in Blackburn's 24-25 season, with some promising signs, but he's quite raw and not yet fully polished. Struggled for game time as a result, making just 1 league appearance after he joined the club in January. When he played, he was often unpredictable, taking risks in tight areas but not always paying off. He spent most of the season as a backup option, with his only Championship match coming in a 2-0 defeat. He also featured in 2 FA Cup games, but overall has had minimum impact on Blackburn's campaign, probably more one for the future. While not a traditional winger in terms of crossing output, he was used to stretch defences, trying to force one-on-one duels. Carbo will need to sharpen his passing though and his finishing to be a regular starter in the future. So now let's take a look at what was going on with the managers. Of course, that managerial situation. It's fair to say John Eustace's stock rose from his time at Blackburn, having taken them from expected relegation candidates to playoff contenders for much of the season. He displayed Blackburn's style of defensive solidarity, structured build-up play and adaptable to different opponents. It was working well with a motivated Blackburn squad. But that shocking twist to Blackburn's season, leaving Rovers to take up a managerial position at Derby, who at the time were in the relegation zone. His departure came at the crucial stage of the season. Blackburn was sitting in a strong position in the league and aiming for a playoff spot, with fans and players shell-shocked at the news. Reports suggest that Eustace's decision was influenced by a desire potentially to move closer to his family and return as well to a former club. However, there were also frustrations behind the scenes, particularly regarding recruitment and the club's transfer dealings. Rumours of Eustace also feeling unsupported in key moments by the club. There's questions by the fans in terms of the finances used. They know they got fees for Scott Wharton and Sammy Schmonic and want to see that reinvested in the squad. It's proved frustrating, and of course there were protests towards the end of the season. It brought to an end a 12-month stint at Ewood Park for Eustace, with his record seeing 18 wins from 52 games, taking a Blackburn team that were in trouble to a well-performing top half side. Following the move to Pride Park, he said he had more conversations with the Derby owner David Clowes than the previous ownership groups combined at Blackburn and Birmingham, which is quite a damning statement indeed. Valérien Ismaël was appointed Blackburn Rovers manager on the 25th of February 2025, just 12 days after the departure of Eustace. Ismaël signed a long-term contract with the club, keeping him at Ewood Park until June 2028. The new French manager has been out of work since March 2024 after he was dismissed by Watford. Known for his core principles of respect, discipline, commitment and hard work, Ismaël would hope to call on his previous championship experience with Watford and West Brom. His arrival came at a tricky time, with many still shell-shocked after the Eustace debacle, and despite a proven track record of leading teams to the playoffs, including Barnsley during the 2020-21 season, early results were poor. Blackburn tumbled out of the playoff positions, and a run of 5 straight defeats was a killer in the end of any playoff hopes. Fans were frustrated both at the board and a difficult integration with the new manager, which was turning a really positive season the wrong way. Tough for Ismaël to get across his ideas though at a vital part of the season. However, resilience in the final stretch of the season has resonated with some supporters. His approach has earned buy-in from some fans who appreciated the team's fighting spirit. So overall, despite last day's disappointment, the league position has to be a huge positive. What can Blackburn do to build on this, particularly now Valérien Ismaël has got his feet under the table? Blackburn clearly can't spend as much as competing championship sides, and last year did well in recruitment, and that will certainly be needed again this summer, but disdain towards transfer strategy and the board remains. Some questions to ask with expiring contracts, which may well be confirmed by the time this video is released, but Tyrese Dolan at the moment is one generating a lot of talk as his contract expires this summer. Dominic Hyam is also another with the option to extend his contract, as does Ryan Hedges. Older members of the squad, Andreas Weimann at 33, Danny Bath at 34. Blackburn at some stage may look for younger options, despite both having stellar seasons for Rovers. Suggestions are Blackburn are in the market for a left-sided centre-back, right winger, central midfielder and striker. Head of football operations Rudy Gested has confirmed that the club is prioritising pace and attack, aiming to add more dynamism to their forward line. So what are your hopes, Blackburn fans, for next season? What did you think of this season, and who do you need to sign? Do let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching. I will catch you on the next one.